Hello and welcome to For the Art with Holy Basil, the podcast for emerging artists. I'm your host, Holy Basil. This podcast is here to contribute to a future that elevates creative minds by touching on taboo topics, sharing lifestyle hacks, and diving into personal artist stories. Whether you're at the start of your journey or you're well on your way to having a full-time career with your art, this podcast is for you. I truly believe the world will be a better place when more people are connected to their creative gifts and boldly sharing them with the world. To me, being an artist is the highest form of alchemy. So thank you for joining me, for choosing this path, and allowing this podcast to be a guide on your creative journey. In today's episode, I'm basically just going to be doing a lot of info dumping on you guys around songwriting, just because it is like one of my favorite things to talk about and pick apart. Like, I love listening to lyrics and listening to people's lyrics and just dissecting everything and making my own meaning of people's lyrics. As well, I feel like it's just such a cool window into someone's brain. And even if it's like a group songwriting thing, like I know that all of Beyonce's songs and stuff are written by other people. Even if it's that, like, it's still such a cool glimpse into like songwriting and what, someone's trying to say. And when you're looking at art in the perspective of a glimpse into someone's brain, still in some way that's like a window into the collective humanity. And I think that's a really cool way to understand people more and actually have more appreciation for humans and this whole thing that we call life and existence. So I've chosen 3 songs today to break down and go into, and they're songs that I come back to a lot, and no matter how many times I listen to these songs, I'm still just like, wow, these songs are amazing. And I do that with a lot of songs, to be honest, but these 3 songs that I've chosen today, I love, and they're all kind of different for me, and I love them all for different reasons. So without further ado, the first song that I've chosen is a Caroline Polachek song, and I'm just gonna go like straight into it. I've got the lyrics up here just so I don't get sidetracked and everything like that, and I actually stay on par because I can go off on tangents very, very easily when I'm like going into people's art and music and lyrics. Caroline Polachek to me is a very interesting but intelligent songwriter. Like, she's really got her own, like every songwriter kind of has their own sense of style, but I can just tell that she's really writing all these songs from a place of telling a bigger story. And I know that she has a lot of lore connected to her songs as well. I can just see it from her music videos. I also went and saw her live in December last year in 2023. So, and the whole thing was very like coded and lore based, and every single movement that she was doing was it all was very precise and very proper. So I like when the performance is precise and woven so intricately to every like movement and word and like gesture and a phrase that's said before a song comes on is planned like that, you just know that there's also that same amount of care that's gone into every single song and every single lyric. So without further ado, the song that I've chosen is called Blood and Butter. If you haven't heard this song, then definitely go and have a listen. I don't think I can share the songs and play them on here because of copyright reasons. But obviously, it's going to sound a lot better for you if you go and listen for yourself anyway than me just trying to play it through a speaker here. And it, anyway, so I love this song for a number of reasons, but just one thing that she is so good at is her vowel placements. She knows where to put the exact right words and where the certain vowels and sounds of words are good placed in certain areas depending on the rhythm of the song, the melody, the note that she's hitting. She's a genius at this. I believe she's a genius at this. And so I'm going to read through verse 1, verse 2, like the whole song as it goes, and just break it down like that and do my best to reference what I remember hearing the song and what it sounds like as well. So the first verse goes, look at you in denim and bows. I know the mode is lethal. Say you want to show me a place. The place is here. The here is inside you. Where did you come from? You. So firstly, breaking down this thing, just the way that it flows out when she sings it, like, look at you in denim and bows. I know the mode is lethal. All the O sounds is what she's really leaning on here. Look at you in denim and bows. I know the mode is lethal. So you want to show me a place, the place is here, the here. And then it's the second time around, it's landing on the E's more. Here is inside you. So, where do I even start with this? Oh my God. Basically, she's really good at landing on these vowels and these vowel placements and just flowing with a certain melody that really like hooks you in straight away. And it really did. As soon as I was like, look at you in denim and bows, I know the mode, da, da. You know, it's a really clever thing with songwriting as well. It's just kind of like staying on one note and then just going up a little, like by a semitone or something. The Weeknd does this in a song as well, and I can't understand anything that he's saying, but it's when it's like na 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 na, and it just like, that's a hook right there because it's just da 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 da. And she does this as well, but I feel like it's a bit more articulate with how she's doing it. Look at you in denim and bows. I know the mode is lethal. Yeah, so that's basically that first verse. So we're just kind of like, I love looking at the first verses because there's always an introduction into like, ooh, what is this song about? Where are we going here? Where is she taking us? And then the second verse, it goes straight into the second verse. Pretty with the critical mass, your body has the body power. Lying at the foot of a linden in a navel ring inventing June. Now, something that I've been to like quite a few songwriting workshops and things like that. Something that I have been taught a lot about songwriting is that it's like a rule of songwriting. Like if it doesn't make sense you saying it out loud to someone in a sentence, then don't put it in a song because it's not going to make sense. And I feel like Caroline just defies that law. She's just like, nah, chuck that law out the window. Like screw that. Like I'm putting whatever lyrics in my songs that I want. I don't care if it makes sense speaking out loud or not, you know, because like if you were to just go up to someone and just be like, pretty with the critical mass, your body has the body power, lying at the foot of a linden in a navel ring inventing June, like they'd be like, what? Excuse me, are you okay? What are you talking about? Like, but in the sense of like putting this into like the lyrics just as that, in the song and in the melody and the way that she's singing it, it's phenomenal. So like just the way that it sounds when it rolls off of her vocals, like lying at the foot of a linden in a navel ring inventing June. So and like it's like she's like gone from like O's to A's to then like a critical mass, your body has a body part, back to O's, and then the E's, like linden in the navel ring inventing. So I just love how she does this, and it's just so clever because what it does to the brain is it like, it sounds hooky because you're kind of like repeating the same vowel again and again and again, and then all of a sudden like mixing it up with the word June as an example. And then back again to that last line, where did you come from? You. And something that's really clever as well that I have learned from like songwriting as well, and I really, really admire, is when like you can just throw a question in there at the end of a paragraph. Where did you come from? You. And it just lands on the place of uncertainty that it makes you want to like listen and lean in more and be like, well, who is she talking about and where did they come from? Like it makes me want to ask more questions and be like, well, who's she talking about? Where did they come from? Are we gonna find out? And so that's really what then the pre-chorus should be leading us into, is like, who is this person? Where did they come from? what's going on here? I want to know more. So then it gets to the pre-chorus, which I feel, again, like something else that she does so cleverly is like throw in all these metaphors and throw in all these colorful words and like a poetry that doesn't quite make sense, but then she'll bring it in to like a chorus or a pre-chorus that sounds very tangible, and it's like, oh, this makes sense to me. Like I can speak this out in a sentence to someone, and that makes sense. And what I want is to walk beside you, needing nothing but the sun that's in our eyes. Like very, very demure. I can't get that out of my head right now. It's not demure. It's very just like straightforward and like saying it as it is, but it still paints a picture. Next line, paint the picture in blood and butter, holy water, fire and sky. So then like that it really does paint a picture, like blood and butter, like that image of that mixed together, holy water, fire and sky. This is like, now I'm like, oh, we're in a place where there's like a sacrament or like something really sacred happening here. And I feel like the fire in the sky as well like leads back to like her song Volcano or Smoke, which is like with the symbolism of the volcano, and you know, fire in the sky, technically that's like the sun as well. So which I think like ending on that line is very clever, considering that like the very last part of this song goes and I just thought it was like da 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 as she was saying it, but when I looked at the actual lyrics, it's going ra 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 ra, which Ra is the Egyptian sun god. So I think it's very, very clever lyrics, and it's like, is she talking about an actual person here, or is she alluding to like, is this a song that's kind of alluding and like a tribute to the sun god, the Egyptian sun god Ra? And so I feel like it's very, very clever in that sense, where it's painting such a picture and it's telling such a beautiful poetic story, and at the same time it's not giving everything away. It's still making me like guess, and I still don't fully know like her intentions behind the song and what it actually is about. But like, if it's just a love song to someone, then like, well fucking done, because you made me think that it wasn't a love song to someone and make it, you know, feel like it's something way, way grander than that. So then we get to the chorus. Let me dive through your face. Like, firstly, what a line. Let me dive through your face. Damn, I want to dive through someone's face. To the sweetest kind of pain. Call you up, nothing to say. No, I don't need no entertaining. I really love these lines as well. And I feel like she just writes. I have this sense that she just like writes and writes and writes whatever's coming out, and just writes and writes and writes, and then it's just like whatever lines like really jump out to her, then she'll like just bring it together in a chorus. That's my sense. That's my sense anyway, or at least for this song. So call you up, nothing to say. I don't need no entertaining. Like, I love that line. Like, I'm gonna come call you. I don't have anything to say. I don't need you to entertain me. I just want to just hear your voice, whatever it is. When the world is a bed, give me green and ribbon red. Oh, I get closer than your new tattoo. I want to like soak in those lyrics forever, because when the world is a bed, like the whole world being a bed, so it's like, again, it's like the imagery, green and ribbon red. I'm like, I don't actually know what that means, but it sounds metaphorical. It sounds like she's alluding to like something like, but I don't even know what she means. But it just, even the sense of like, if she just put it in there and it doesn't actually mean anything, it sounds good with like the way that she's worded all the other words to like flow into that. Again, it's going like, need no entertaining, all the E words. When a world is a bed, give me green and ribbon red. Oh, I get, and then closer than your new tattoo, which is, again, is very smart, because she's kind of going like through all these vowels of like dive, face, pain, say, entertaining, and then just ending on tattoo. There's no other word in there that like actually directly rhymes with tattoo, and it's like the only ooh sounding word in that whole chorus, and it's just such a sweet space to land where it like doesn't directly rhyme with anything, but it feels right and it sounds right. Okay, going into verse 3, this is literally like, I think it's going to be one of my favorite lyrics in a song ever, this entire verse actually. And when I saw her live, I loved how many people just screamed these lyrics back at her. Like this particular line, look at your mythological and Wikipediated. Especially the Wikipediated bit. Like everyone's like, Wikipediated. And I loved it. So, look at your mythological and Wikipediated. Just the way that she sings that too. I'm like, oh. It gets me in a good spot, and just the cleverness of just like, I've never even heard someone use that word Wikipediated, and then mythological as well. They just flow, those two words just gel so well together, and it's still like bringing it back to a point of like, it's personal. It's like, look at you're like mythological and Wikipediated. So it's still like, to me, it's like, I think she's talking about the sun god Ra. Look how I forget who I was before I was the way I am with you. Where did you come from? You. And I love that line as well, because she literally just could have said like, I'm not the same since I met you, or something basic like that. But instead she decided to just like go on this full like flowing tangent of vows and be like, look how I forget who I was before I was the way I am with you, and just go on a whole flowy thing, and then come back to the where did you come from, you. It's so beautiful. I love this song. Like the lyrics are so heartfelt, and I'm still like, is she talking about a real person? Is she talking about the sun god Ra? Is it someone that reminds her of the sun god Ra? I have no clue. I actually don't know. I haven't like actually, I honestly like, I didn't want to like go and search any interviews for any of these songs that I've chosen before I did this, because I just wanted to like go off a whim and be like, this is what I feel like it means to me. This is what I think it means, rather than just directly tell you guys like, oh, this is what the artist said that it meant. Like, I'd rather just make it up myself and, you know, go and research it later if I want to, and you guys can go and research it later too if you want to. Okay, and then so then it goes back to that pre-chorus, back to that chorus, and then like just from that simple verse of like 5 lines, I feel like it just brings even more context into that pre-chorus and that chorus, which essentially is like what the verses are meant to do. They're meant to like start the story, and then, you know, you bring in the pre-chorus and the chorus. The third verse is, or the second verse after the first chorus is always meant to like do something that just like develops the story even more. Yeah, and then basically, as I said before, the end of it is that rah rah rah, and it just kind of like goes on and on and on over and over and over again. So I actually, how many times does that, oh, it doesn't have it on this one, but I'm curious as to like how many times it has it on there, because I think that's also some type of symbolism as well, of like how many times she actually says rah on there. I don't know. I can't, I'm not going to like try and search it up and count it right now, but I think that's also some kind of clue to something of how many times she actually says the word Ra. Okay, so that is the first song, Blood and Butter, Caroline Polachek. It's such a beautiful song. Her vocals on it are phenomenal, and I love her. I love her so much, and I hope that I get to actually like meet her and hang out with her one day, because she's cool. Okay, the second song that I've chosen is a Kate Bush song. Anyone that knows me knows that I absolutely love Kate Bush. She's another person, like, if I have like a dream. I have a dream in my heart. I really would love to like write a song with her one day. I don't know if she is writing songs anymore, but I feel like if she is, she's doing it, and like if she's releasing any or anything like that, she's doing it under like a fake name, and just being like, here's these songs. So, but you know, if that never happens, like to at least like be in the same room as her one day, or just be able to like learn from her in some kind of way with like songwriting and storytelling, like hands down, in my opinion, she's like one of the best storytellers ever that I've ever known. Like, in the sense of like music and theatrics, like she is one of the best storytellers that I have ever experienced. I will literally, I go back and like watch her YouTube videos all the time of like her music videos and her interviews and her live performances, and every single time, without a doubt, I will see the same thing over and over and over again, but my jaw just drops to the floor. I'm literally just like, oh my god, who is she? Oh my god, where did she come from? Where did you come from, Kate Bush? I'm fangirl. I love her, but just like her work is so inspiring to me. So the song that I've chosen is Hounds of Love, and let's get into it because it's a cool song. There's so many songs that I could have chosen of hers, but I decided to keep it with like, I just went with this one. There's so many. I'll do more later on, but yeah, for this one, let's get into it. So it starts off with like the dramatic drums, and then like that I'm gonna call it like an old school kind of voice, because it sounds very like proper old school English, like in the trees, it's coming, and like already I'm like, oh, I'm somewhere, and it's like there's like a franticness with the drums, and then like I think the strings come in then, or did they come in a little bit later? But it's like that, and it's like that running kind of chasing feeling. Already she's like created that, and that's kind of like what she's telling in the song. It's like she's running from something, basically. And then she says that in the first line. So, when I was a child, running in the night, afraid of what might be, hiding in the dark, hiding in the streets, and of what was following me. Already it's like, it's eerie, the lyrics are like kind of spooky, it's kind of like frantic, but also there's like this like softness like that you would get from like, you know, like a child that feels kind of like sad or scared or like, you know, a bit uncertain. And I feel like you just get that straight away from those lyrics, where they're quite like simple lyrics and quite straightforward. And still, it's like she's like the queen of imagery. Like she knows how to like tell a story that maybe doesn't even have anything to do with her. Like she knows how to like put herself into that frame where like she is that person and she is that character and she is telling this story, and just telling it in such like a colorful, dynamic yet straightforward and with like clarity and precision. So yeah, so that's the verse. Then it goes into this pre-chorus. Now hounds of love are hunting, and I feel like this little ooh 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 is it's like a really cool little hook in there, because you haven't quite got a hook in the song yet, and then just those like little vocal oohs really just help to like create a little hook like right in there in that pre-chorus before even like bringing in a chorus. So now the hounds of love are hunting. I've always been a coward. I don't know what's good for me. Firstly, like just the fact that like hounds of love, that's such a cool metaphor. How like there's hounds, and like usually when it's like release the hounds, it's like danger. It's like something's coming to get you, something's coming to attack you, but it's like hounds of love. And I feel like it's such a cool like contradictory twist. And it's like, okay, well, cool. Like there's some insight there of, okay, well, there's love. She's like running from love, or like love is trying to hunt her and get her. But maybe it's not the type of love that she wants, or maybe, you know, I'm still going back to like this first line of like when I was a child, you know, and then it's like, is there like things from when she was a child that's like unresolved, or some type of love relationship or something that happened there, and now it's like catching up to her in her adult years, and she's still just like confused about, you know, what's good for her and what to accept, or like does she give in and let these hounds catch her, or does she keep running? And then the chorus, oh, here I go. And I feel like I love that it just kind of like picks up there, like here I go. And it just, when you like go into those higher like, oh, like notes and stuff like that, it helps to just like create a bit of uncertainty and a little bit of tension. Just this whole chorus with just what she does with her vocals, it creates such like there's like tension, there's drama, it's just like dramatic. It's like, you know, I don't even know how to describe it, but here I go, it's coming for me through the trees. And then just the way she says, help me someone, help me please. Like just the please and everything. This next line as well, take my shoes off and throw them in the lake. The way that she's like, throw them in the lake and I love the way that she does the throw, because it really puts me in that thing of like, she's fucking throwing those shoes. She's not just like, and throw them in the lake, like just like a half-ass throw. She's throw them in the lake, and just she's like, chucking them, not just throwing them. She's like pegging them with all of her might. And then just how like dramatic and eccentric that whole bit is. And then she just like, I feel like just to bring it back and be like, and I'll be 2 steps on the water, and just the way that she's like, throw them in the lake and I'll be 2 steps on the water. Like every single line, and the way that it is delivered in this chorus, fabulous, exceptional. I get so excited, you guys. I get so excited talking about this that I feel like sometimes I get so excited that I like skip over things, or I'm like lost for words because of how much I'm into this and how much I'm like frothing on the lyrics and the songwriting and the vocalizing and the ways of like expressing it all. I love it so much. Okay, I could honestly like just keep rambling on about that chorus for ages, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go into verse 2. Verse 2 goes into, I found a fox caught by dogs. He let me take him in my hands. His little heart, it beats so fast, and I'm ashamed of running away. Just that, like I'm ashamed of running away, and then like nothing real. I just can't deal with this. I'm still afraid to be there. This is what I'm talking about, where like verse 2 has got to top verse 1, and it's got to bring more. It's got to bring more energy, more passion, more fire, more depth to the story. And this verse does it for this song perfectly. Because firstly, fox caught by dogs being like the hounds. Foxes, what do foxes use? Like fox, that could easily be a metaphor for something, but like thinking about like what foxes usually represent, it's like being cunning, being witty, you know, being a bit like, that just reminds me, I had a dream of a fox. I dreamt of a fox last night, and it was my pet. I was like, I have a fox and I wanted to like have it as a pet. That's interesting. Very interesting. Anyway. Yeah, so like what foxes usually represent, and then it's like being caught by the dogs. That's such a beautiful like imagery, beautiful metaphor, like it's just one line. And then he let me take him by his hands. So it's like, okay, this fox is being caught by dogs, but like now I can like just take it in my hands and like nurture it and care for it. And it's like a little hard and it beats so fast. So it's like whatever this like cunning, witty, you know, mysterious, shy fox, whatever it represented for her, is like there now, and it's like delicate and it's fragile, and she's just like holding it, and you know, the fox has been caught. And then the next line is like, I'm ashamed of running away. So it's like she has run away. Maybe the fox ran away at some point. The fox is her. And now she's just like, oh, I'm so ashamed that I ran away, and like not knowing what's real. I can't deal with it. So whatever like these hounds are chasing her for, whatever's like banging at her door, whatever's like trying to like get her, it's like she can't deal with it, and I'm still afraid to be there. Just that line, I'm still afraid to be there, it still makes me like link back to the first line of like when I was a child. So again, it's like I feel like it's still alluding to like a childhood thing, and then it's still like with her to like process something or like go through something. Yeah, okay. Brilliant. Verse 2. And then we're going into that, back into that pre-chorus, bringing that little like do, bringing that pre-chorus hook back in again. Among your hounds of love. So it's changed a little bit now. So instead of like, now hounds of love are hunting, I've always been a coward, it's changed to among your hounds of love. So it's just like in and around the hounds of love now. I feel your arms surround me. So it's like, okay, well, maybe it's like this person that's like there with her now, and she's just like given in, and she's let them like take the reins. And she's like, I've always been a coward. and I never know what's good for me. So it's still like bringing in back in that same line. I don't know what's good for me. I never know what's good for me. And it's like, are they her words? Or is that what the other person's told her, that she doesn't know what's good for her? Interesting. And then, and then back into that second chorus. Oh, here I go. And going back into that, and it's just like, and then it like picks up even more. I feel like there's even more strings in this part. She's even like bringing in more like dramaticness with like the vocals, and then adding in like, help me darling, help me please. So instead of like help me someone, it's help me darling now, and it's just like making it more personal to a specific person. I love it. I love it. And I feel like that's a really cool thing to do as well when you can't decide what to say in a certain part of a song. If it's like a chorus or a pre-chorus and it comes back around again. Like if she was like, do I say help me someone or help me darling? That's like put someone in the first one because it's more skewed. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's more like, abyss, in the abyss full. And then help me darling. It's like, oh, that's really personal. That's like about a specific person. And then just the outro of just like, I don't know what's good for me. I need love. Yeah, I need your love. And then like, again, taking my shoes off. And then it's like, again, it's like coming back to a question, which like the whole like thing of this song has been pretty like, I don't know what's good for me. I don't know what to do. I'm taking my shoes off. I'm throwing them in the lake. I'm ashamed of running away. I can't deal with this. And then just coming like to, at the very end of the song, coming to a question like, do you know what I really need? Do you know what I really need? Like, and just asking them, do you, like, you're like, here, you're chasing me with your hands of love, but do you know what I really need? And then just stating at the end, like, I need love. It's just such beautiful, clever songwriting. And again, it's like the way that the words are pronounced in the actual song that just like adds even more emotion and color and flavor. And just, I feel like she's so clever as well with like, okay, what am I wanting to say here? And then finding like the perfect kind of musicality and instrumentation to be able to mesh that together and like make that a thing. And it's such a beautiful, like, colorful. I just want to like dissect her lyrics forever and ever and ever. Just let me die and go into the abyss of Kate Bush lyrics, and I'll just listen to them and dissect them over and over and over again and just froth on them, and not even it'll just be me by myself in this like void, and I'll just be me and Kate Bush lyrics and songs and everything Kate Bush, and I will be fine. I'll go mad, I'll go crazy because there's no one else to like offload this to an info dump on, but it's fine. It's totally fine. I'll be fine. I'll be great. Woo! I'll be having a good old time. But if she was there as well and I could just write songs with her, yeah, that's actually what I want. Okay. Third song now. This is a 21 Pilots song. If you're a big 21 Pilots fan, like me too, I'm a fan of all these artists that I've chosen here. The song that I've chosen for 21 Pilots is Car Radio. I'm so excited that this is going to be on their set list. I'm for the Clancy World Tour. I'm seeing them in like August, September, October, November. 3 months time. I get to see them live, and I've never seen them live before, so I am stoked. Okay, so let's go into these lyrics. First of all, I just want to say Tyler Joseph is an absolute poet. Like, he is a poet through and through, and what I really want to talk about with this song specifically is like, it's literally like one big poem, and then he's just put it into a type of phrasing that's like rap, and it's got really great melody to it, and again, it's like that emotiveness through the expression, through the emotiveness with like there's certain emphasis on words that really brings the emotion through with what he's saying. Let me just take a breath for a second. I made myself a hot chocolate too, and I haven't even drunk any of it. I'm just going to take a breather. 1 second. I'm just like... Oh, that's good. Okay. Car Radio by 21 Pilots. It starts off, as a refrain, which again is just like a beautiful poem to start a song with. I ponder of something great. My lungs will fill and then deflate. They fill with fire, exhale desire. I know it's dire, my time today. Okay, what I want to first say about this, like just the fact that it literally feels like he's just like started thinking about something and then just started writing, and just like, it's like addict with a pen, you know, and he just started writing this, like, I ponder something great, like just pondering, and then just whatever's like coming up for him and whatever he's noticing, like in that present moment, he's just like writing it out. Cause like my lungs will fill and then deflate. They fill with fire, exhale desire. I know it's dire, my time today. I really love this thing of like fire, desire, dire, and then just like coming back to, it's like great, deflate, fire, desire, dire, and then today, which kind of, it's like a slight rhyme to deflate, but it's not really. It just kind of like, it lands on its own thing. And like, there's something that's like really cool that you can do as well, because it's like, if you like rhyme 2 words and then like go off on another rhyme, it's like, cool, well now just throw in this line that doesn't quite land, or it lands, but like it doesn't quite rhyme with anything else. And that's cool. Sometimes we can like get super, well, I know anyway, I can get like super stuck on like a rhyme thing, and then it's like just to like chuck in like a different line that doesn't actually quite rhyme with anything else is, first of all, I think it's really clever to be able to do that and know how to like land the syllables in a way where it's still sounding like it's rhyming and it still fits, but it doesn't quite fit. Forgot the other point that I was trying to make there, but anyway. I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace that slot with what I once bought. So he's doing the same thing of like thoughts, often, ought, slot, once bought, somebody stole, already yo. So it just kind of goes into and then stole, radio. It's the same o in there, and now I just sit in silence. What a fucking epic way to start a song. Like, somebody stole my car radio, now I just sit in silence, and it's like, you know, but like the music still like goes on. The music still goes on in the actual song, but it's like just sit in silence, and then it's like a moment of just the instruments and everything like that. But then just straight into like, sometimes quiet is violent. I find it hard to hide it. My pride is no longer inside. It's on my sleeve. My skin will scream. Like, what kind of imagery is that? Quiet is violent, like that, just that line, like it just takes me into like a place of like, quiet is violent. It's like, so he's like sitting in silence, he has nothing, like no car radio or anything to distract him. Quiet is violent, so it's like whatever's kind of going on in the silence for him, like within his own mind. My skin will scream. Like, that is such like, and I've felt that before, and like not even being able to like articulate that kind of thing in a way of like my skin like screaming, reminding me of who I killed inside my dream. And I know this is like going back to like their lore and everything like that, reminding me of like who I killed inside my dream. But just like as like lines on their own, they're such strong lines on their own that when you like just put them all like next to each other, it's like, whoa, it's weighted, it's heavy. And this is such a heavy, like, deep, emotive song. And you know what? Okay, so something that is extremely clever, like some of the best poets, I think, are poets that can, like, kind of, like, make a few different points, you know, at the beginning of their poem, and then go off on these tangents, and then at the end of the poem, like, it'll all link back in together. And that is, like, super clever poetry to me. And that is, like, exactly what he's doing here. Because he's just started out just talking about, like, a car radio. But, like, obviously there's a big metaphor into what the car radio actually is. But he's just talking about, like, the car radio. He's talking about, like, you know, things to do with his body, like his lungs, his skin. And then, like, it's, like, a mental thing as well for him. So yeah, reminding me of who I killed inside my dream. I hate this car that I'm driving. Like, just comes like straight back to like that car radio. Hate this car that I'm driving. There's no hiding from me. I'm forced to deal with what I feel. There's no distraction to mask what is real. I could pull the steering wheel. Like, yeah, it is really clever to like scream, dream, feel real. Like he'll throw in some other lines in there that don't quite rhyme, but then it's like coming back to like a little rhyming thing, feel real, and then I could pull the steering wheel, and like just I could pull the steering wheel. It's like, again, it's like landing on a place of like uncertainty, like landing on a question, but instead it's just like a phrase, like I could pull the steering wheel. Will he? Won't he? I don't know. Let's continue. Let's find out. And then it comes back to that refrain. I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace that slot with what I once bought because somebody stole my car radio and now I just sit in silence. Again, it's like looping it back around. And then we slide into verse 2. I ponder something terrifying. Like, first time he was pondering of something great. This time he's pondering on something terrifying. Oh, lordy. Oh, Lord. Because this time there's no sound to hide behind. Like, oh, shit. Oh, like, just how clever these lyrics are. They're so like complex, but they're so simple. So complex, but so simple. I don't even know how long this would have taken him. Like, I'm like, did he just write this out as it is? Like, knowing him and knowing how, like, I don't know him, but like just like the way that he writes, I just have this feeling that it's just like and it all just like flowed out. But there is the possibility that like it took him ages to just like chop and change everything and move it all around as well for it to all just like land, you know, in a really like precise like way that just really like hits you instantly. This time there's no sound to hide behind. I find over the course of our human existence, and now it's going to like some complex thing, and this is coming back to like the mental thing, because it's like there's no sound, it's just quiet, it's just him and his feelings and his thoughts. I find over the course of our human existence, one thing consists of consistence, and I just like one thing consists of consistence, and just the way that he's like able to like one thing consists of consistent, because that could be like a real tongue twister, but just like being able to say that and just consistence and throwing those words pretty much right next to each other, I like it. And it's that we're all battling fear. Oh dear, I don't know if we know why we're here. Oh my, too deep, please stop thinking. I like it better when my car had sound. He does this really good in a lot of songs, even like the Blurry Face song where he's just like, I wish I didn't have to rhyme every time I sang. That's a really clever line as well. But just the fact, like, he just like, here, am I too deep? Please stop thinking. I like it better when my car had sound. And it's just like, where did that even come from? He said sound a little bit earlier, but sound like later on, just throwing it in there where it doesn't actually rhyme with that whole phrasing. And there are two things we can do, but from the things that work here are only two, and to form the two that we choose to do, peace will win and fear will lose. Like, even just those bits, I'm like, what? It's like a bit of a tongue twister, but it's almost just like he's thrown in the things that he needed to say, but just added a bit of extra wording just to like add in with the beat and the timing and everything. And it almost feels like he's made it like a little bit of a tongue twister and being like, but from the things that work, there are only two, and to form the two that we choose to do, it's almost a bit like, wait, what did he just say? And I think it's also coming back to that thing of like things being muddled up in your brain and like trying to make sense of them. Peace will win and fear will lose, and there's faith and there's sleep. And we need to pick one, please, because faith is to be awake and for us to think. Faith is to be awake, and to be awake is for us to think, and for us to think is to be alive, and I would try with every rhyme to come across like I am dying to let you know you need to try to think. Really, really clever. I think that when he does this, the word think at the end actually lands on like the beat one instead of like the fourth beat. Maybe not. No, I don't think so, actually. But just the way that he really, like, it's so precise, and all the right words land on the right timing and the right phrasing. Because it's like, and for us to think is to be alive, and I will try with every rhyme to come across like I am dying to let you know you need to try to think. Okay, yeah. So it lands on like, it doesn't land on the four, it lands on like a phrase afterwards. To think, I have these thoughts so often I ought to replace that slot with what I once bought because somebody stole my car radio and now I just sit in silence. I love that he's thrown the word rhyme in there, like try with every rhyme. Like he's not just talking to himself anymore. Like it's like he's going through this whole thing, this whole process in this silence, like with himself through his own mind, but it's also like he's speaking to us directly as well. So it's not just like a personal battle, his own like personal battle anymore. He's like reaching out, and he's like this, like he's saying, trying to like say this to us as well, like you need to try to think, like please try to think. And it's just like he's letting us into his mind and like what he goes through mentally, emotionally, internally. And yeah, it's really like letting us in, and it's like he's showing us the conversations that he has with himself, but at the same time he's also talking to us directly. And then basically like that bridge, and now I just sit in silence, and it just goes on and on and on over and over again. It like hypes up, it builds more, there is more sound in throughout like this part of the song, and there's more of a build and everything like that. And then it leads back and lands on that refrain again. I ponder something great, my lungs are filled and then deflate. That whole thing, something stole my car radio, now I just sit in silence. And like to me that is like such intelligent poetry. I think if it was an actual poem, he probably would have started with that refrain and maybe like ended with it as well, and maybe not said it in the middle. But the fact that it's like a song, he's thrown that refrain back in there, like from the start, he's thrown it back in there like 3 other times, including the last part at the end. It's like it's always coming back to that point of like what he's actually like going through, and then like the verses go off and elaborate on it more. And I find it's such a poetic and beautiful and clever and like deep and personal song. And yeah, I literally like whenever I want like kind of rap inspiration for stuff, or just like poem inspiration, I always go back to this song as well, because of just how clever it is, of just how he's just been able to like, you know, put references out there, or just say like certain statements and stuff, and then like, you know, pull at it a bit more and like pull at all these different angles, and then make these extra references and metaphors and everything, and then bring it still back to like a place that feels like it's landed. It feels like it's clear, maybe still a little bit unresolved, because like now I just sit in silence and he's still sitting in silence, but it's like we're taken on this really like deep journey. And like he's got such a great way with articulating, I think, you know, a lot of things like people go through with like mental health and everything. Like he's got such an intelligent way of articulating like what it's actually like, and putting that into art and poetry and expressing it, that then like, you know, I knew even for me, like when it's hard for me to like find words to actually like talk to people and open up and express how I'm feeling, it's like I can just listen to like his songs. I can just listen to the 21 Pilots song. I shouldn't say his song, like it's their songs, it's Tyler and Josh's songs, but like I listen to it and I'm just like, oh, he's just said everything that I'm like thinking and feeling, and I didn't actually like need to go and like blurt a bunch of things out, and like it's like, or he's helped me like make sense and like understand it, so then when I do open up and I do talk to someone about it, then I'm like, it's just helped me make sense of something a whole lot more. Yeah. I need to take another breath. I get so excited, you guys. I think the rest of my podcast, I just really want to like info dump on different lyrics, to be honest, because or just lyrics and songs in general. I love it so much. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in to this episode. I really hope that you found you know, something that was like, you probably just like listening to me like rant and info dump the whole time about lyrics and how much I love these artists, but you know, maybe it'll inspire some cool poetry, maybe it'll inspire some cool writing, just thinking about like writing songs differently, or like self-expression in different forms. I know like one thing for me as well, I will say, is like when I started looking into Caroline Polachek's lyrics and how she was like writing songs, I was like, this is so smart. And then I like tried to like, I started being like, oh, I want to write like more in her kind of style and do things, you know, the way that she's doing, which is like so clever. And then I like couldn't write for like at least 3 months. I couldn't like write like a decent song, because I was just like, oh, but she's such a good songwriter, I need to like write it as she's doing it. And the thing is, like, I actually realized like I just need to like drop that and just be like admire her and like all these people for like their songwriting styles, and then just still write for like whatever's true to me and whatever's like coming out for me, but even if it's just like some basic thing and I'm like, this is so boring, it's like I just still write it, and then I could like turn it into something like colorful or flavorful later, or just take it out of that song and put it into this other one. And so, yeah, the thing is like not to really like try to write in the style of any of these other people, but now what I'm doing is like just taking a bunch of inspiration from each of them, and then like still like owning my own style of songwriting while still being inspired by all of these other amazing artists and singers and songwriters and magical people. Okay. That's a wrap on another episode of For the Art. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to leave a rating, a comment, a review, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're tuning in there. Also remember, don't be a gatekeeper, send this episode to a fellow artist who would really enjoy what we covered today. If you want to reach out with any questions or topics that you'd like me to cover in future episodes, then you can find my details in the description. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep doing it for the art.